G'day, g'day. Just giving people a chance to join before continuing. Welcome, buddy. Hope you're well. Hope everyone's doing well. For those who have joined me so far, just getting some things sorted before continuing with today's live stream. I did hear about the AirAsia order of, what was it, 150 A220s? Quite a massive order, if I say so myself. Make sure you share the stream to anyone who may also enjoy what you guys see today. As you can see, the airport is rather empty today, compared to what it was at the end of the last stream. For those that didn't join me for part 1 of episode 14, go and check it out on my channel. I'll possibly link it down below at the end of the stream today, but for the meantime, welcome along to today's stream, ASJE Aviation HQ Live, episode 14, part 2 of setting up my next airport update, which is random ops number 12 of the series of random ops model airport updates on the channel. So, as I mentioned, if you are new to what you see today, welcome along to today's to my channel. What you see on this channel is all mainly around the side of things when it comes to collecting model aircraft. Whether it is model unboxings, whether it is airport updates, which I'm setting up in today's stream, or my model reviews. I hope you enjoy what you see on this channel. If you like what the sound of that, go ahead and leave a thumbs up below. Go ahead and subscribe to the channel whilst you're there. Get the notification bell on to receive notifications for future videos. And I hope to see you on your support throughout the channel. I don't really do my content here on YouTube and throughout my other social media platforms, especially Instagram being my other main one, for the views and or the followers, the numbers pretty much. But it is quite humbling to see the amount of people that do enjoy this sort of content. So if you are that way inclined and you think other people might enjoy that sort of content, make sure you get the word out by sharing what you see on this channel. So in the first part of this episode 14, I picked out all of the aircraft that will be in the next airport update. I have already listed down or sorted out the arrival schedule board, which will be on the front page of my website before the video actually goes live. Also, I should mention that I'll be writing out the script to the airport update after the models have been put out onto the airport, so then I know where they will be, whether it will be at a gate, on a taxiway or a runway, etc. Um, so that's what I will be doing after this live stream has finished, of course. So yeah, lots of models, lots of colourful models will be coming out in today's live stream. I don't know how long this live stream will last for. I think the live stream that was a few days ago went for roughly. Let me just have a look on my channel on my other phone. It was an hour and 16 minutes last time, so hopefully I don't go too long this time around, because my last part 2 stream went for almost an hour and a half, so it'll be interesting to see um, whether it will go that long this time. But anyway, without further ado, I'm going to start bringing out the models that will be going out, and will be lining up the gates, etc., for the next airport update. If you have any questions regarding the aviation community, aviation industry, I guess, and how I got into it, model aircraft, things like that, don't be afraid to drop them down into the chat, because I don't mind interacting with you guys whilst proceeding on with the stream, which is pretty much why I like to do these live streams, to interact with you guys. So if you want to ask anything, don't be afraid, and jotting down any questions you want me to answer for you guys, and kind of treat it like a Q&A type session. Let's just do that, yeah. So without further ado, I'm gonna start bringing out the models. As you can see, the sun is starting to shine into my room. As I begin this side of things, just lowering down the camera, just sorting things out for you guys. So the first model that I will be putting out in today's stream will be going over to this gate right here, Alpha 1 being that gate. Of course, all of these gates here are the Alpha gates. These here are the Bravo stands, so Bravo 1 to 5. These are the Charlie gates over here, Charlie 1, 2, and 3 respectively, and over here is the Delta gate, or the Mike 1 or Delta 1, depending if it's Mike gate. The Mike gate here would be for a military aircraft, but in today's case, it is a passenger aircraft, so it would be Delta 1. And as I mentioned, these are the Alpha gates, ranging from Alpha 1 down to Alpha 5. And then we've got the taxiways. So this is Alpha here, Echo here, Papa here, and Kilo here. And then we've got the off-ramp here, mainly for either cargo aircraft that are too big to fit in this gate here, or like a government aircraft or something like that. And then we've got runway 10 here, and at the opposite end, it kind of cuts off at the end there. Sorry, that's showing the screen there. But that would be the end of runway 28, being the opposite of 10. Of course, the link is in the description below for anyone who is interested in getting an airport map like this, or you can go ahead to aircraftmodelstore.com, located in the United Kingdom, for where I got this from, and perhaps get the other version that they have, which is the updated one, in terms of the wooden type of the airport map. It's and it's foldable as well. I should also mention that as well. So very good. So without further ado, I'm going to start bringing out the aircraft that will be in the next airport update, random ops number 12. So let's start doing that. So Alpha 1 was the first gate that we'll be looking at today, this one up here. And then, of course, was the Saudi Boeing 787-9, this being Saudi Airlines, based in Saudi Arabia. Hotel Zulu Alpha Romeo 23, released by NG Models, of course. I'm not too sure when this was released, but it was quite a while ago, as you can probably tell, because it has the styrofoam base there. And of course there is no NG Models exchange card in there, because this model was released long before they started doing the exchange points, etc. So very nice. I am quite glad that they went away from the styrofoam base. As like, for some reason, this sort of base kind of makes me nervous, because of how the pressure you have to put on the tail fin to get the bottle out of the styrofoam. Even though it does feel quite secure when the model is in the styrofoam, but yeah, I'm glad they went away from that and to the kind of cradle they have for their current releases of models. Apologies for this sort of like colouring on the airport. You can see the reflection of the sun going through the container that I have that is used to store the models. So do keep in mind about that as well. So this model here is a mentioned release by NG Models. Very nice. The first of the dream models that will be coming out in today's live stream. Does have rolling gears. Very nicely done. If you want to go, you can check out the model review I did of this aircraft. It will be somewhere on my channels. Easier access for that is via the playlist that is seen on my channel. That would save you scrolling all the way through the channel just to find the model review. I'll also put this model review of the model in the description below once I have finished with the stream. So here is Alpha 1 just here, and I'm just going to go ahead and put it there. Make sure there's no dust and debris on the airport. Just make sure that the aircraft itself is straight. It's very nicely done indeed. Of course, I will start putting out the GSC, or some of the GSC, on the airport later in the stream, of course. Radio Alpha 2 is in the frame at the moment, and bringing in the aircraft that will be going into that gate, or that remote stand, or whatever you would like to call it, is this Lufthansa Airbus A330-300, released by Gemini Jets way back in 2019, as you can see on the bottom corner of the box there. Very cool. Let me know where you're watching from. Of course, don't be afraid to enter the chat if you would like to ask me any questions regarding aviation. That would be fantastic to start a conversation regarding those questions. Very nice. Very nicely done. This Lufthansa 330-300. I'm pretty sure this also has the rolling gears. Yes, that certainly does. As you can see, the gears are quite actively rolling on the gears there. Rose wheel does it as well. Looking rather nice. The Lufthansa new livery on the 330 today. Very clean livery. And that model goes perfectly there. Should be an arrival for the next airport update. Hopefully the audio is up to standard today. Using the same microphone as I used in the first of the streams, so I'd be surprised if the audio is worse than what it was in that stream. Very nicely done. Just going to put the cradle back into the box before continuing. Next model review video should be coming out onto the channel in 2 days time, so do stick around for that. Very interesting one coming out very soon of an Airbus A350, one of the newer releases of an A350, so looking forward to getting that out for you guys. So the next aircraft we'll be looking at today, we'll be going into Alpha 3, right in the smack bang middle of the Alpha gates. Just bring the camera back for you guys. And this one being the Thai Airways Airbus A380-800, more of a classic routing for this aircraft, or service for this aircraft, because for those that don't know, Thai Airways no longer operate the A380. Unfortunate, because this livery was one of my favourite on the 380. The purple colour on the 380 looked fantastic on it. So quite unfortunate that Thai Airways had to go ahead and retire them. Now currently sitting quite sad on aprons at Bangkok Suvarnabhumi International Airport. Given and I mean quite faded as well, their livery. Quite sad, but nice to have this aircraft out on the airport. The only of the A380s that will be coming out in today's stream. I wonder when we're going to be having multiples of A380s coming out, and for the next live, in an airport update. Wonder if the next episode will have multiples of A380s. Of course, I can't have multiples sitting next to each other due to the wingspan of the A380. But I can have up to 3, but they have to alternate every 2 gates for that to happen. And same with where the Lufthansa 330 is at the top of the screen. One can sit there, but the next one would have to sit at Alpha 4, otherwise Alpha 1, 3 and 5 can have them. So that's how that rolls with this style of airport mount there. So here is this Thai Airways Airbus A380 by Phoenix Models. Very nicely done. As you can see, the gears do tilt on their struts there, looking rather nicely done indeed. Very cool. Nice looking rounded top of the fuselage, the cockpit here. Very cool. Of course, there are other much more superior modes of the 380, but I think Phoenix Models at the time did a fantastic job. This one being Hotel Sierra Tango Uniform Delta, also seen on the wing, on the top here. Registration just there, and of course on the underside of the wing. Very nicely done there. Rightio, this aircraft going at Alpha 3. Let's put her at the gate. And make sure that she is sitting straight. I didn't actually check if the Lufthansa was sitting straight, so I have to do that. It is, because as you can see from this angle, the edge of the wingtip of the 380 is right over halfway between these two lines, and so if an A380 is sitting here, then the wingtip fences would be contacting, and of course at an airport there is requirements, the spacing between each of the aircraft, so that's pretty much why I can't put an A380 at Alpha 4. The next two aircraft that I'll be putting out onto the onto the airport. My bad. Both of them being Dreamliners. So very cool indeed for those that are fans of the 787, much like myself. Very cool. And the first of the Dreamliners, or the next two Dreamliners that will be going out in, putting them out onto the airport will be this Oman Air 787-9. Let me just point down the camera. Very nicely done. Cannot remember when this one was released. Quite a while ago. Sometime before 2019 at least. This one being Alpha 4 Oscar dash Sierra Charlie, the registration of the aircraft. As you can see there it is the letter O, not a 0. Very nice. Haven't had this model out of its box for some time, so good to have the aircraft back out of the box. Very cool, and let's get the cradle off. Of course, this aircraft will be coming in from Muscat, the capital city of Oman. Very cool. Just do some brief housekeeping on the model. Make sure the aircraft isn't dusty. Such a nice model. As I mentioned, hasn't been out on the airport for some time now. There will be model photos of these aircraft on my Instagram page very soon. Wonder if I can focus. There you go. Very nicely done. Oman Air Dreamliner-9. I think that was the first of their three the Dash 9s in their fleet. Very cool. And the next of the models will be the first of the UK based aircraft or airlines in today's live stream. Another one of the Dreamliners. So very nicely done. This one was the first of the fleet of the 787 Dreamliners for this particular airline. So that will be exciting for people who are a fan of the said airline. One of my favourite carriers on the planet, especially one of my favourite British airlines. So let me just put the camera back a bit, angle it to the point where Alpha 5 is in the frame. Very cool. And here is the aircraft. The Virgin Atlantic Airways Boeing 787-9 Dreamliner released by Phoenix Models. Registration wise Golf Victor November Echo Whiskey. The first of the 787-9s for their fleet. This one being nicknamed Birthday Girl, as of course it was the first one in their fleet. All of the Virgin Atlantic aircraft are named after somebody. Not too sure who this one is named after, but it is called Birthday Girl on the model. So very cool indeed. I do want to get some more of the 330-900 Neos. For Virgin Atlantic, I only have one. By Gemini Jets, that one being Golf Victor Juliet Alpha Zulu, I think it was. That one being nicknamed Billie Holiday. I would like NG models to come out with a few. Aviation London have come out with a few of them, but they're rather scarce and unavailable for me. So it would be nice if NG Models came out with some more. This model rather dirty, if I say so myself. Must This model must have come out rather recently, because just by the look of it. So very nicely done. Virgin Atlantic Boeing 787-9 at Dreamliner. Very cool indeed. This model going at Alpha 5, so let's get somewhat of a nice angle. Probably this is the only angle I can probably get of this gate. And I'll put it there. Very nicely done. Coming in with service as Virgin Atlantic or Virgin 105 from London Heathrow via Seattle in the USA, Washington, USA. That's where, or at least the routing of that model. So for the next one, for the next aircraft that I'll be putting out, I'll continue with the wire bodies and put them at the Charlie gates, which are at the end of the airport. So back down here, I'll focus on Charlie 3 for the time being, as of course that is the last of the passenger wide body aircraft at a remote stand or a gate. This being a Korean-based airline. You might think to yourself, it's Korean Air, but no, there is another airline based in South Korea that operates the Dreamliner, especially the Dash 9 at Dreamliner. This airline being, I believe it's a subsidiary airline of Korean Air, released by JC Wings, this model. If you know your liveries, this aircraft has a blue and orange coloured livery, especially on the tail fin. And yeah, without any further ado, this aircraft is, of course, the Air Premier Boeing 787-9, released by JC Wings. I like the tail livery of Air Premier, as you can see just here. They are the shape of the 787's windows, so you can pretty much see window, and I like how JC Wings has this one open. You can see through it. Very nicely done. And here is the model. This one being their first of their Dreamliners in their fleet. Hotel Lima 8387 being the registration of the airline, or the exact airframe that is. So very nicely done. This one won't have any GSC up to it. I don't have any air stairs, so maybe if I had air stairs, then they would go up to the aircraft. But I won't have any of the catering trucks or anything, as of course Charlie 3 is more of a remote stand than an actual gate. So very cool indeed there. So the next gate that we'll be looking at is right at the end here. Charlie 2 in the middle, next to the wingtip of the 787, isn't going to be unoccupied yet again for the 12th straight episode of the Random Ops series. And this one is going to be, I think, the only freighter aircraft on the airport. So, quite unfortunate for those that are a fan of the freighter aircraft, but perhaps later on in the near future, or the future of the airport updates, I might actually do a freighter only airport update. But to do that, I would need to have some more of the GSE that goes with the likes of the freighter aircraft. But I don't have any of the trolleys that you see with the cans of cargo or anything. So for that to happen, I would need to get them. And most of my freighter models usually sit at the gate that you're looking at on the screen at the moment. So very cool there. And let's get that model in the shop. The only one of the 747s in today's stream, and the second of the quad jets. And the last of the quad jets, if I say so myself. And this is the Polar Air Cargo DHL tailfin livery on the 747-8 freighter by Phoenix Models. November 855 Golf Tango being the registration of this aircraft. Very nicely done. Let's get it out in the open. Pretty sure this was a recent acquisition in terms of it being out on the airport. Been in my collection for some time now. So very nicely done. Let's get this aircraft out, because the wings are quite secure in the cradle there on that end, and on this end just here. There we go, should be out. And there is the model. Just going to put the box back together before putting the aircraft at the stand. If you are enjoying what you're seeing, quite laid back if I say so myself in terms of today's version, or today's part, as I'm not going through any of my containers to try and look for models. If you are enjoying what you're seeing though, do leave a thumbs up below. If you want to come along and join the community here, if you want to support my channel, go ahead and subscribe. And yeah, get the notification bell on. Of course, there is no pressure for that to happen, of course, but of course I would love to see your support on future videos here on the channel. So yeah, here is the model. Quite nice, quite elongated, being the 747-8 freighter. No passenger windows, of course. This does not operate passenger services. A very long aircraft. I think it's one of the longest aircraft on the planet. In terms of operations, just need to check the nose wheel. It does look quite loose, if I say so myself. You can see moving quite freely on the axis there. Does look to be nicely secured. Right, let's put this at the gate. There you go. I'm just going to stand up for a brief moment and show you a nice up close shot of the model. Looking rather good. Let me just check and see if the aircraft is straight on the leading line. Very cool. Now that's all of the wide body sitting at gates for the next airport update. 4 Dreamliners. 4 Dreamliners, an A330, an A380 and a 747. Next, we're going to go ahead and do the narrow bodies. I'll start off with Delta 5 down the end here. Try and get a better angle for you guys. I'll just put it like that just to at least include it. Actually, yeah, I think we'll do Delta 1 first, and then we'll go over to the main side of where the aircraft sit for the rest of the narrow body aircraft. So we'll just bring back the camera just slightly. Radio, and here is the aircraft that will be in that gate. Surprisingly for me, this aircraft will be coming in with a partnership service on my airports network from North Queensland International Airport. Very cool indeed. This Jetstar Airbus 320neo by NG Models, the first of the 320s. 320 Neos, Victor Hotel, just Alpha 5 Alpha. Unfortunately, this aircraft model did come in with the silver coloured fuselage and engines. Even the star was silver. It's not meant to be silver, it's meant to be grey. So we'll be replacing this perhaps with the JC Wings one, if that is eventually in stock. But as you can see, I mean, it's not a bad model. It's not a bad representation of the model. It's just one of those things that I'm rather picky with. The aircraft should not be silver, it should be grey. But as I'm seeing it now, it really isn't that terribly bad. So I'll just put that there. Jetstar A320neo. Looking rather nice, if I say so myself, apart from, as I mentioned, the shading of the aircraft. Very cool. We'll put that off to the side at Delta 1 and then show you an up-close shot of it. Just putting it at the gate. Very cool, and let's get the shot for you guys. Very cool. Sitting there rather nicely, if I say so myself. And now we'll do the rest of the Bravo stands from Bravo 2 to Bravo 5. I'll keep the angle like this. Very nicely done. Not too sure when the actual episode of the airport update itself will be on the channel, but I am wanting to at least ramp up my my output of videos on this channel. Trying to rework how I am going to be doing my airport updates for now on, as I've seen the last few have been at least maybe 35 to 40 minutes long. I am aware that that is rather extensive in terms of time. So I'm wanting to keep the retention of people to a minimum, and to a minimum number that I have, or a maximum number that I have in mind. So in terms of how I want to work out my analytics, etc. So do expect more videos to come out throughout the next few weeks. We're in the second week of May, I think, as of now. So hopefully got a video coming out in 2 days' time, and a video after that coming out 3 days after that. So I am needing to film some more. Hopefully this airport update should fill the void in the meantime. So very cool. I hope you enjoyed that sort of like, and analysis or news about what's coming up or update in terms of my channel. So next of the aircraft that I'll be putting out in today's live stream will be this Air Callan Airbus A320-200, released by Phoenix Models. I picked this up back in 2015, I believe. Very cool. I am hoping that someone comes out with an A320 Neo, as of course Air Callan, based in New Caledonia, no longer operate the 320-200 variant. They operate the Neos now. So I will be selling this off as soon as somebody has an A320 Neo in their catalogue, or it's when I have it in my hands. So very cool. The last time I had this model out, it was a departure, or in an airport update, it was a departure. So it'll come in as an arrival this time around. So very cool. Coming in from Noumea, the capital city of New Caledonia. The model looking rather nice there. We'll go in at Bravo 2. Just like that. And I think when I put out the GSC, I'll mainly just put them on the aircraft that I think will have the GSC, and I will, sort out the layout of the airport, and in terms of how the aircraft will look in the video nearer to the end. Some of the aircraft you see at the gates aren't going to be at the gates. I'm just putting them at the gates now, due to the fact that that's how I'm bringing the models out, of course. So the next of the aircraft sitting at Bravo 3 just here, of course that one being Bravo 4 and 5 here, will be the aircraft you can see the box of in the bottom left corner, and that being the Batik Air Malaysia Max 8. This one being Romeo Golf, should be Romeo Foxtrot, as of course this aircraft was in a recent, or at least let me just have a look, because this aircraft was in a this aircraft was actually in the most recent of the airport updates. So perhaps this one here could go on the taxiway, and the aircraft that I chose for the taxiway can go at a gate as an arrival. So perhaps that's how I could work it out. And saying that, I would have to kind of redo the schedule board that I have lined up for the arrivals for my website, but I can do that afterwards. So I'll put this here momentarily. I am just now seeing the width, the wingspan of the 747. You can see in the top left of the screen is somewhat cascading over the side into the taxiway. So I might have to relocate that aircraft to where the other aircraft that I'll be putting at that area of the airport. That made sense. Very nice. So very nicely done. Just gonna make sure it is kind of straight. Kind of isn't too. So let me just sort this out. Very nice A320 and a Boeing 737 MAX 8. The next two gates sitting here, and both of them being Qantas aircraft. Hold on, let me just have a look and see what the wingspan would be like with this Max 8. Yeah, that would be a problem. So I will have to move the 747 to the off ramp, which is what I mentioned before. This bit here is for the aircraft that are too big to fit at this gate, and in this case the polar aircraft is too big, so just gonna have to move this and put it here. And I do need to keep in mind that I will have narrow body, sorry, not narrow bodies in this case, wide bodies will be using this taxiway here to access the runway, so the wingspan will have to be into consideration. So I may well have to put the aircraft at this gate now on to the airport, and if the fella who requested this aircraft is still in the chat, let me know if you are, and I will definitely keep an eye on the chat for that. This aircraft being quite a special aircraft, I will go to the other narrow bodies in the Bravo stands very shortly, but I just wanted to get this filled in or sorted out before. And this aircraft being a now retired aircraft, very iconic livery, special livery, based in Iceland as this aircraft was. Very nicely done. And this aircraft will not be sold from my collection whatsoever. Will not ever be taken from my collection. And this one, of course, being Miss Hecla Aurora herself on the Iceland Air Boeing 757-200 with the scimitar winglets, as you can see on the box there. Unlike the conventional design of the blended winglet, has the little hook at the top of the winglet there, that being the scimitar part of the winglet. Very cool. This one being, I think I now only have 3 757s in my collection. This one being one of them. The other two, one is a Royal New Zealand Air Force, a 757, and the other one is a DHL. But I did sell the other 2 Iceland Air 757s I had in my collection, as of course they were retired or soon to be retired, so it didn't necessarily make sense to me to have them. Of course, you could probably ask me the same thing regarding that rationale about keeping them regarding this Hecla Aurora livery, but it's Hecla Aurora, so definitely won't be leaving my collection. As you can see, look at the details on the model, and I mean the design itself. Such a beautiful aircraft. So this one will be sitting at this gate here. Let me just see if it is sitting at the gate properly. Doesn't necessarily have to be at this parking point, it can be further back. So let's just do that. Very nicely done. I don't know if I'm going to be getting any more 757s in my collection, to be honest. I don't know if I have much of a need for any anymore. So now that will keep space for the taxiway. That's why I was doing that, for the wingspan of the narrow body that will be on that taxiway. So Bravo 4 is the spot that we'll be looking at now. As I mentioned, both of these being Qantas aircraft, because Qantas is the parent company to Jetstar that you saw just a moment ago. And this one will be the Qantas Airbus A321 XLR, the XLR variant or extra long range variant of the 321 Neo. Very cool. This model here released by Panda Models, Victor Hotel, Oscar Golf Alpha, the first of their fleet of the 321 Neo family. They now have 5, if not 6, in their fleet now, and I've heard that the next one is to be in a special livery. So I'm looking forward to seeing what that one looks like. Currently being painted in Hamburg at the moment. Hamburg Finkenwerder International, not international, just airport in general. That's the airport that Airbus build the aircraft alongside their main plant in Toulouse in France. So very cool. Just going to put that off to the side. And here is the model. Very nicely done. I love the livery. The style of the Roo logo on the tail fin there for Qantas looks rather nice. So this aircraft will be going here. Very nice. Very nicely done there. And whilst I'm at this angle, in fact I'll put the angle like that. There's that for you guys. Enjoying that? Very good. I will get the next of the Qantas aircraft out for you guys. And that will also conclude the laying out of the aircraft at the gates. And then we can proceed with the aircraft sitting on the taxiways. So very cool. And the runway. So the next aircraft that we'll be looking at today, as I mentioned, another Qantas aircraft. And that is the Qantas Link Airbus A220-300. There she is sitting in the box there. Very nicely done. On the A220. I am quite a fan of the 220, to be honest. Multiple airlines from the Oceanic region are now ordering them. Air Niugini, I believe, was the last of the Oceanic airlines to order them. They now have 3 in their fleet. Air Niugini, based in Papua New Guinea. With the Independence livery on there first, and the normal standard livery on their second and third. Hopefully somebody comes out with them, because I would definitely love to have Air Niugini in my collection, especially for the narrow body sides of things, and I do need more narrow bodies in my collection. Very much so. So very cool there. A220, Qantas Link, because Qantas Link do operate these 220s over the ditch here between Brisbane and Wellington. It won't be operating that service, unfortunately. It will be operating as Qantas Link 220, quite generic there, but that's all I could think of. Between capital city Canberra and ASJE International Airport. Looking rather nice there, sitting next to the other Qantas aircraft there. And that concludes the aircraft sitting at the stands. Very cool, looking rather nice and colourful there. So next we'll start doing the taxiways. I'm going to start with taxiway Kilo. That's right in the centre of the screen there. And let's do that. Surprise, surprise, it is another Qantas aircraft. And I specifically wanted to put it on taxiway Kilo, because it will be sitting next to the other Qantas 220. And this, of course, is the Qantas Link, what is known or nicknamed as the broccoli livery. I cannot remember what this livery is called. Starts with M. I cannot remember what the livery is called. It is on the aircraft itself, but it's far too small for me to look at. Yeah, I can't remember what the livery is called, but it's an Aboriginal name anyway. So very cool indeed. All the details on the aircraft. I think there's up to 40,000 individual dots on this livery, which is outstanding. I think it was the first of Qantas's liveries to move away from the conventional red tail fin. As you can see, it is green on this livery. This actually also was their first 220 in their fleet. If anyone could put the livery name of this aircraft in the comments, that would definitely help me out. I did do an unboxing of this model. This would also arrived in as my at the moment last Gemini Jets release. Actually arrived in my collection January last year, or February last year, one of those 2 months. So very cool. And this aircraft sitting right here is a departure today, or at least in the airport update. Very nicely done, connecting between Sydney via Launceston, or if I'm pronouncing that right, in Tasmania, north of Hobart, of course. So very nicely done there. Don't think there'll be any aircraft sitting on taxiway Papa, so I won't be including that. But now I'm going to go ahead and start laying out the aircraft that will be on the main taxiway Echo, which is this long one just here next to the runway. This will determine whether how many aircraft are sitting on the taxiways. Of course, there are some pretty long aircraft that will be sitting on this taxiway, so we'll see how that goes. But starting off with the runway, I think this one will be turning on to the runway, so we'll put the camera like that and get the box into the shot. This being the Lufthansa Airbus 350-900, released by Aviation 400. I will unbox this one off screen. Has been quite a while since this aircraft came out of its box. Also came with a stand, like every other AV400 aircraft these days. This actually was my first Aviation 400 model in my collection. Does not have the magnetic gears, but it does look outstanding. I think they are meant to represent the second generation of the Sharklet. As you can see, they are quite tall, but this one here is kind of bent in. It's kind of bent a little bit too much. I don't want to touch it because I might end up breaking it. Just past the hour mark on the screen, so if you are enjoying what you're seeing, and if you have been here for the entire time so far, do let me know in the comments below. And of course, if you haven't done so already, leave a thumbs up below, subscribe, and get the notification bell on. Very cool indeed. I hope you have enjoyed what you've seen over the last hour or so. I know it's not exactly as, energetic, somewhat enjoyable than the first part of getting the models out of all of the containers. But it is sort of, I do like unboxing models and putting them out on the airport, displaying the models to look like an airport as well. So I do hope you are enjoying what you're seeing. So very cool. Of course, I won't put the GSC out on all of the models. I think I'll just put the GSC out for the narrow bodies, as of course they only take about 2 each. And I will have to think about which of the narrow wide bodies are going to be arrivals and departures, etc. Alright, so with that done, let's go ahead and put the next of the aircraft out. Let me just adjust my tripod if I can. Like that perhaps. I don't know, I'll just have to put it on an angle again. Okay. Right, the next one will be an airline that I regard as my favourite. For those who know me well, you should already know what airline this is. It's an airline I have not flown before, but I have dreams of flying this airline at least once in my lifetime. And of course, if you don't know the airline too well already, it is of course Singapore Airlines, the Boeing 777-300ER Sierra November Alpha by NG models. I have 4 of these in my collection in terms of the 777-300ER, or do I have 3? Pretty sure I have 3. The other one is Whiskey Bravo in this livery, and the other one after that is the Star Alliance livery, which was actually in my last airport update. So very nicely done. I will also unbox this aircraft off screen, so there is room for the other models. So very nice. That can just go in there. And here is the model, looking rather spanking if I say so myself. Quite a nice job by Phoenix Models. A timeless livery as well on Singapore Airlines' 777s and all of the liveries. Aircraft that the livery is on. So very nice. This is probably the moment where I start to realize if these aircraft will fit or not. Because we do have another 777 after this. Same length of aircraft as well. So that will determine whether or not some of the models that will be going out on the taxiway do miss out on being in the next airport update. But we'll see how that goes about. I do have 5 more models that may or may not go on to the airport. I definitely know the next 3 will, if not next 4 will, but I'm not sure whether the following 2 will, if that makes sense. Rightio. The next of the models, as I mentioned in the stream that was before this one, part 1 of the stream, is a model that was released back in 2001. We'll put the camera like this so I can at least put the models box on the airport here. We'll sit down as well. It's very cool. And here is the model, or at least the box, of the Thai Airways Boeing 777-300 non-ER by Dragon Wings. So very, very nicely done. Very cool to have a classic model out in the shot. Both of the Thai Airways aircraft in the stream and the airport update are both aircraft they no longer operate. So very cool. As you can see, the cradle is yellow. Has been a while. Was it 2001? It must have been 2001. Just trying to look for the details here. Interesting stuff. Anyway, here is the model, looking rather spanking indeed. This is actually my first ever 1:1 scale aircraft. So very nicely done. Looking rather nice. If I say so myself, you might hear it creak or not, just because of how it was made. But look at this. Absolutely timeless livery on the Boeing 777 non-ER for Thai Airways. This, of course, being the livery that was before the current livery. Very nice. Indeed. Won't fuss around the boxes too much now. I've only got a few to go. Might need to hustle on as well. Sunset is imminent here on the east coast of New Zealand, so might have to hustle along now. This aircraft sitting here. I think we might have a model missing out, just based on the length of these two models and the fact that there isn't really much space here, unless I push this model forward a little bit. Because the next model is a quite a stubby model in terms of the length. But yeah, we'll think about that. And I've got to think about the model that will be on the runway as well. Alright, so the next model they'll be putting out on the airport today, probably third to last, is this model right here, the Hainan Airlines Boeing 787-8 Dreamliner, released by ASJE Models, Bravo-2722. That this was one of their first in their fleet as well. And that's the newer design of the cradle. You saw the styrofoam one that the Saudi-9 came out of earlier on. I like this one a lot more. Let me just try and get it out. There you go. Get this protective sleeve off the top. And then get the model out. Yeah, I think the next model that will be out will be the last on the taxiway. This model is rather dirty. We'll clean the airport before the video is out. Yeah, I'll just have to put this forward to allow room for the next aircraft. So one more aircraft here and an aircraft sitting on the runway. Well, there doesn't have to be a model on the runway, right? There's already one taxiing on here. I'll figure that out. Because I think the aircraft that I have associated, or at least occupying the runway, is a little bit too big now. Anyway, the next aircraft that will be going out on to the airport, I will just have to move this Hainan Dreamliner. This next model is an airline that I am quite familiar with, as of course it is my flag carrier. Air New Zealand Boeing 787-9 Dreamliner, released by Phoenix Models. This one was my first ever Air New Zealand Dreamliner in my collection. I have 4 of them now. I think it was my first ever Dreamliner into it as well. Now I have roughly 130 odd in my collection. So very nicely done. Zulu Foxtrot in this case. This should be an arrival in the airport update itself. I will have to clean this one as well. Rather dirty on the wing. Very cool. I don't think we'll have an aircraft going on the taxiway after this. Yes, rather dirty, the model. So I have, sorry about the close-up view of my arm there. We'll have a model sitting here, a model sitting here. Okay. How's that looking? This model here may have to come backwards a little bit. Sweet as. Taxiway looking rather nice. I think this Dash 8 gives quite a bit of leeway between the Dash 9 and the 777 ahead of it. Don't know if I'll put an aircraft here, but I'll get it out regardless. I will have to unbox the model off camera, as I don't have enough room to put the box onto the airport itself. But I'll just turn my camera like that ever so slightly. So the British Airways 787 that I got out last in the part 1 will miss out and will be eligible for the next Random Ops series video. So do stick around for that if you're looking forward to seeing that get chosen. But the next aircraft that will be coming out will be this Delta Airlines Airbus A330neo. This one registered as November 401 Delta Zulu, released by Gemini Jets in 2019. I believe this one was their first 330neo in their entire fleet. They now have quite a few of them now. Very cool. And let's get the model out. There's the model sitting pretty on the runway there. And let's get some room going here. And let's put this aircraft onto the runway. Would go here. But I'm not sure if that would be good, if I say so myself. But anyway, that is pretty much the layout. I won't bore you guys with the putting out of the GSE, as I think I have rambled on for far too long now. But it does look rather good. I will show you the GSE, but I won't lay them out. I've got these pushback tugs. Got 2 of them. They will go out on this, the gates that they usually go on. I've got these catering trucks. Gate Gourmet catering trucks. I've got quite a few of them. I've got these fire engines. I'll put them around the airport as well. And I've also got these airport buses. They will go around the airport as well. So very cool. Indeed, I'll give you some angles now of the layout. very cool. A nice array of aircraft out in the stream. We can see the Jetstar shadow there. Nice array of Dreamliners. I like the number of Dreamliners on the airport. As I mentioned, there's not too many people out there that like the fan or are a fan of the amount of 787s I have in my collection. But we've got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 out. Eventually there'll be one that has all of the wide bodies being Dreamliners. So just keep in mind about that. But anyway, that will be it for the stream today, and ASJE Aviation HQ Live episode 14 part 2, the last of the parts of this episode before I actually go ahead and film the video and then put it out onto the channel. So I'm not too sure when the video will come out, but as I mentioned before, I am hoping to put it out as soon as possible to keep the content ticking along onto the channel. So if you like what you saw in today's stream, go ahead and leave a thumbs up below the video, of course, and of course subscribe to the channel below. Whilst you're there, just support my channel even further and get the notification bell on to receive all notifications for future videos here on the channel. My social links are below the video or the stream at the top of the description below. The main ones would be Instagram and of course my website, but of course check out the website via a big enough screen. The phone resolution size of the screen of a phone is too small. Check it out via an iPad, a tablet, a TV, a laptop, a PC, either one of those devices, and you'll get the high quality viewing of that airport, my airport's website. And of course Instagram is the main other platform for social media. The photos of these aircraft will be out very soon, and of course stay up to date for my network news as well. But anyway, that will do it for today's live stream episode for you guys today. Thank you very much for coming along and tuning in to today's stream, ASJE Aviation HQ Live, episode 14, part 2 of setting up my next airport update for random ops number 12. Next video coming onto the channel in the next few days, so do stay tuned for that. Another one of the model reviews of a model in my collection. Give you a clue, an Airbus A350 is what it will be. Won't say that what airline or the aircraft, the model brand, but it is an A350. But anyway, that will do it for today's live stream. Until next time, guys, fly safe, stay safe, and I'll see you guys in the next one.